Welcome to Chamber Chat. This is our first in-person Chamber Chat since we've been through that whole COVID experience, and we're so psyched to be in the Chamber Studios live with my great friends in the business community, Mary Ann Mahoney, who is the CEO of the Boulder Convention and Visitors Bureau, and my other partner, Chip, only Chip, no last name, who's the CEO of the Downtown Boulder Partnership. So we'll be getting a chance to chat with my good friends, but first a couple of announcements from the Boulder Chamber. So, Women Who Light the Community event. It's an awards event that recognizes business women leaders in our community, and we are in the nominations process. So think about what women business leaders are deserving of recognition in our community for not only their business success, but also their engagement in our community. And we have our nominations open until June 25th, so hurry up and get them in. And we also have a special category of award for a young emerging leader. That's sponsored by our emerging leader sponsor, Alpine Bank. So think about some youth leader who deserves also to be recognized. Again, June 25th is that application process. Next, we have our first in-person business after hours, and it's going to be a hybrid event that is on June 23rd at 5 to 7. That'd be an early happy hour. 3 o'clock. That's when I start. It's going to be at DV8 Distillery, which is just a wonderful facility. They have great branded liquors, whiskeys and gins, etc. It's a very welcoming and inclusive environment, and we're going to have some fun there. So show up. It's going to be a great chance to network live and in person, but we also will have a hybrid opportunity for those who want to network online. So we'll have both and opportunities, and those who are in person will get one free drink, which may be just plenty enough, from DV8 Liquors Distillery. So make sure to show up. That is on June 23rd from 5 to 7 p.m. And then last, just to say it, we are starting those face-to-face engagements with our Boulder Chamber family, and we're so excited to get back together with all of you. So look online on the calendar. We're going to have both in-person and hybrid events, so meeting all of those interests and comfort levels at this point, but it's a lot of stuff that's going to bring us all together. Very excited about that. So enough for me on the announcements. Ready to chat with my good friends?
I need to take acting lessons from you, John.
I know, I'm gesticulating extra. That must have been the caffeine.
It could have been.
Whatever it was, that DV8 liquor. So, Mary Ann, I'm going to hit you first.
Okay.
So we've been through a very challenging period. It was both a challenge from a health perspective, but also from an economic perspective and the impact on our local business community, in particular those who are serving our visitors community. And so I'm just wondering if, Mary Ann, just tell me, what is the condition of many of the business stakeholders that you serve through the Convention and Visitors Bureau?
They survived. It's amazing how flexible, how pivot became part of our language, part of our daily thought process. But when you're in the hospitality world, you're always pivoting. You're always thinking about how to make something work. We're always here to serve. And so when you're in that service industry, the ability to change up your business model, to try new things, was first and foremost on everybody's mind. Keeping your primary employees, the people that that you could keep, how could you have them make a living? And how can they serve guests the best?
Yep.
And have everybody be part of this recovery? It is just, it makes you so proud of our industry.
I so love it. So through innovation, inspiration to continue to keep their workforce on board, they've been able to survive through those.
And what do people need to live on?
Yeah.
I mean, some of the business models shifted from the service employees to the tipped waiters that always, were living in one bedroom apartments by themselves,
Yeah.
to the back of the house that was sharing a house with 5 other people. Back of the house being the prep cooks and everybody else, and really how the equitable salary and hourly payments have started coming forefront. So really, what do people need to live on, and how to do that together?
Survive together. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And so, Chip, I wonder, similar experience for Downtown Boulder, the heart and center of our visitor and also residential entertainment.
Yeah, Mary Ann's right. It's been really exciting to watch. Scary, but exciting to watch how the businesses have been so adaptive. Out of necessity, and I think that's one of the things that I'm really excited about moving forward. Is we've had this whole year and a half of adapting, out of necessity, and we've learned some things that we probably would not have learned. I think we hear a lot of people talk about how COVID was really an accelerator in terms of a lot of trends in retail and trends of public space, and so we're seeing now, as we're getting full capacity back in our restaurants, we've got people thinking differently about workforce, people thinking differently about distribution of food, people thinking differently about retail and the retail experience. So we're already seeing some new exciting business models come out of this that started as a response to COVID, but now are a response to this is better, like doing things in a better way, and I feel like we'll see more of that. I have to say we've been very fortunate downtown in terms of, when we look around the country, Downtown Boulder's done really well in terms of our survival rate of the businesses. There's been a small handful of tragic, every time a business closes, it hurts, but we've been really fortunate. We've had a really resilient and really supportive community, and I've also been really impressed to see how the business community's really mostly looked at how can we get through this, not how can I survive, how can my business, but how can we as the restaurant community, how can we as the retail community, how do we support our hotels, how do we support our employees, how do we support our healthcare workers, how do we as a community get through this? And it's been really, really inspiring just to see the community that has been strengthened through this.
I agree. Just even the partnership that we working together as business support organizations, helping to, in a united fashion, lift our businesses and economy. I totally agree. Well, let me ask you this then, Chip. Hopefully COVID is behind us, and now we're looking forward to a summer of excitement, and not just for our businesses, but also for the residents. And so maybe you could just tell us what is exciting to you.
Oh, it's so exciting. Yesterday, the Pop Jets came on for the first time in I don't know how long.
Wow.
And it was so fun to see the kids downtown running through the Pop Jets. The Tebow train is going now every morning, weekday mornings. And so we're already seeing so much activity and vibrancy. People are excited to come downtown. And we're in full steam planning our events. We're going to be launching our Bands on the Bricks July 21st with the Long Run will be out there, and we've got Hazel Miller coming, and some we've got a shortened season because we're starting a little late, but we've got some good concerts, and planning quite a bit, and really kind of expanding how we're reaching out to the community and how we're celebrating, and we're just, so much of what we do downtown is just provide a space for people to come downtown and be together.
Yeah.
To be together in community and celebrate. So this year's going to be big. We're going to have some really fun parties downtown, and we're excited.
Well, I know I'll be there. And so then I'm going to ask you, just thinking about the visitors coming back, and what excites you as, from the perspective of opening up our community now.
And, with Chip sharing what, has come along, so much is just opened up in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Getting notice that we can have capacities in our restaurants. We can have capacities in our music venues and our Shakespeare Festival and the Colorado Music Festival. And it's like, oh my God, we can do these things And, you know, people thought, you know, oh my gosh, we don't have these things, but how much we appreciate so much more because we couldn't do these things, because we couldn't come together. But to be at Mary Rippon Theater and to enjoy the latest production of Shakespeare and just be in the moment. And so, but also to see the giddiness of people on the trails, of when people, we were up at the top of Flagstaff Mountain last weekend, and as a family celebration, and at Inspiration Point. Where else do you go? Everybody wanted to be at Inspiration Point for that photo, but the families together. We're so happy that they were with their adult children on this hike and experiencing this for the first time or repeat. So everybody has this sense of extreme pleasure of doing things. And I think because people got back to their families, got closer to their families, spent quality time, then now they're experiencing things that either they've never done before or they're going back and trying again with a completely new lens, which is so fun to, as things open, we get to say, that's open. And just to genuinely feel that we didn't know until a couple weeks ago. And so much more will be opening as people become more comfortable being out without face covers. I mean, I think a month or so ago we were talking about, should they wear face covers? Should we say this? How long should we be doing this? We had no voice in that. But now that we see people out and about, people are so much more comfortable and getting together.
I think you made a good point too, that just the appreciation of what you couldn't do just makes it that much more special now that you're getting back to it. Well, let me ask you this, just and I think we touched a little bit on it already, but you know, as we now transition and reopen and hopefully have this COVID experience behind us, there are some lessons, some things that are positives that we want to bring forward. You mentioned family closeness. Wondering if there's anything from your stakeholders, your businesses that you serve, that are positives that they will always want to hold on to.
Well, I think that no one that has managed a business prior to 2019 and moving forward will ever forget how to manage their business and their day-to-day operations, and forget that everybody can empty trash, clean windows, bus tables, change a room. Now, I don't know how to do laundry in a hotel.
I don't know how to do it.
However, but everybody can be adaptable as within a business structure, and that there's no boundaries within that. But also, as our business alliance, you're not done with us. We are not. We learned so much about the collaboration of our business alliances, our business leadership alliance, that somebody may have assets that we don't have. Same with other businesses of shared employees. You know, I can only staff somebody 3 days a week, but somebody else needs the other 3 days a week. How do we do that in a different manner? So lessons learned is, you know, it's an old ski term, keep your knees bent and just be flexible and really be able to use this as a bouncing off point, to never sit back and take some things for granted that, you know, somebody will pick up that trash.
That's beautiful. I think the collaboration, the flexibility, the working together, and nobody is beneath taking on responsibilities when the job needs to be done. Beautiful lessons. I love it. Well, Chip, let me ask you, what your stakeholders, what sort of lessons going forward are they going to hold on to and remember that they want to keep as a tradition?
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot, and I think we did learn a lot about kind of resources and human resources in equity, and that I think, you know, early on thinking about you had a lot of restaurants who were trying to keep people employed, but they couldn't really sell food out of their restaurants. And so, you know, we figured out the resources, the community figured out the resources, so these restaurants could create food for our healthcare workers.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think there are some lessons in there about like understanding what lanes people are in, and knowing that both at the same time our lanes can be more expansive, and also with the collaborations they can also be more focused at the same time. So I think there's some real interesting lessons to that people are understanding how just supporting the community supports each other and ourselves. And I think, you know, it's interesting that it takes these big like tragic moments to check in about we should help each other and we should collaborate more. But I think there are a lot of lessons in that, and I think there's, you know, I mean, there's a number of things that we're talking about who is downtown, and how important, like, you know, we haven't seen a lot of our office users come back yet, and we like them. So, you know, how do we celebrate that? How do we celebrate the folks who are here, whoever they are? You know, we miss our tourists. You know, they're starting to come back, but, you know, for our downtown to work, it needs to be welcoming and inclusive for everybody. And I think that's part of the lesson of, like, you know, how do we bring everybody in?
Yeah.
Right. And how do we make it work for everybody? And how do we support each other in that? So.
I love it. Yeah, it's mutual benefit from all the different elements of our economic activity, the workers as well as then the restaurants they patronize, the retail centers. You know, I'm just going to conclude by just saying it has been an incredibly challenging year and a half. I think we all acknowledge that. Probably every one of our viewers would say the same thing. So I will say it's been a great partnership that has gotten us through this with my great friends and teammates, Chip and Mary Ann. Thank you so much for joining us on Chamber Chat. And we thank our viewers for tuning into our first live in-person Chamber Chat. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks on the next Chamber Chat.